Bonjour, mademoiselle. Mama had a dress like that, mademoiselle, only she could dance much more beautifully. I can dance too. Do you wish to see?
Well, I guess I should at least address this precious thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, this portrayal of Adele is definitely closer to the book than other adaptations I've seen. I mean, they got the age right, along with her constant need for attention. But they seem to be trying a little too hard to make her cute. I like this scene where they're waiting for the rich guests to arrive. Wow, they let her near important stuff at the wrong time.
Now you speak like Monsieur Rochester. For him it is never the right moment. Mais jamais.
Ah, yes. Now for the real meat of the film. The part that really is what separates it from the rest of the Jane Eyre films. You begin with this eerie wide shot. Jane hears an approaching presence of, whoa, that's a huge dog. I bet if she had a saddle she could ride it around like a horse. Needless to say, they got Pilot right. That's the kind of dog that a rich man would own. Alright, back to what I meant. There he is. Orson Welles as Edward Rochester.
I'll do anything.
Stand out of the way.
I'm sorry I frightened you, Halls.
Apologies won't mend my ankle. Down, Pilot!
Now, just for your information, I wasn't sure what to think of this right off the bat. While reading the book, I always pictured Rochester as being maybe Robert Downey Jr., Christoph Waltz, sometimes Ewan McGregor. With his beard, of course. I love that Jedi beard. Just look at that huge Obi-Wan Kenobi beard all over. Now, as for the actual performance, if you have any knowledge on Welles, you probably know his origins in theater. You know, that undeniable stage presence, as well as that voice that convinced America that aliens were invading the Earth.
I'm the new governess.
Oh. The new governess.
This was actually what made the introduction seem off to me at first. In the novel, everything's dark and mysterious, and while that's here, you don't really know who Jane is assisting in the book. Whereas here, you know who it is right away. Like he's a monster advertised in a Universal horror film. In fact, several scenes are done like that. Just him walking tall, with the music and atmosphere in intimidation mode. Though I guess it's only fitting, since many adaptations of work from the Romantic era were done in a similar fashion. But I digress. When we first meet him, Rochester's meant to have an unpredictable aura and a larger-than-life personality. Well, that's pretty much what I see here. One minor complaint, though. Sometimes you have to give a second look, just to understand what the heck Welles is saying.
Oh, that's a very nice point, Raj. Would you or would you not? Let's begin by considering the significant facts of the case first. Mr. Rochester's revoltingly coarse and as ugly as sin. Allow me, my dear Blanche, I repeat, as ugly as sin. Where did he come from?
From Lowood Institution, sir.
Lowood? What's that? When you came on me in the mist, I found myself thinking of fairy tales. I had half a mind to demand whether you bewitched my horse.
Not to bash the guy or anything, though. That's how he talks in a lot of his films. And hey, if he wills it, guess I just gotta go along for the ride. Overall, this is just another example of just how cool he is when he's intense. Welles shows Rochester's more passionate side very well in addition to the last one.
What do I want? Answer me, Jane, quickly. Say it without marry you. Say it, Jane. Say it.
I want to read your face.
Read quickly. Say it without marry you.
Edward, I'll marry you.
God pardon me.
Especially when he's trying to convince Jane not to leave.
Jane.
God keep you from harm and wrong.
Jane. Jane. Jane.
Huh. You know, this sounds kind of familiar.
Jane. Jane. Jane.
What? Hey.
Okay, let's get to the stuff that keeps it all in place. Every supporting character included in the film is fleshed out enough to serve the story. And I say those included because many of them were excluded from the book, which leads me to my biggest complaint. The entire section where Jane leaves Thornfield and meets another member of the family, miles and miles away, has been left out of the film. Instead, they merely mention her struggles with hunger and have her come back full circle to Gateshead, which was really supposed to happen before. Not only is this chronologically out of whack, but that section was probably a fourth of the actual story. I can't imagine what they were thinking. Sure, it flows well in the film, but this change is far too severe to ignore it if you're, like, watching this after reading the book. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I'll just wrap up with smaller things that I thought made the film worthwhile. I liked how they barely showed Bertha. They tease us with her demonic laughs and screams, as well as her keeper, Grace Poole. I liked Grace, too. She was appropriately dark and creepy.
Understand? No one. Get thee down.
In place of Miss Temple, Jane's only grown friend at Lowood is Dr. Rivers, as in the film's version of St. John Rivers, who checks the girls at the school.
I know somebody's going to be late for inspection.
Not this time. I'll meet you there.
Even though he isn't presented in the film nearly to the same degree as he was in the source material, the guy's still likable, and helps move the story along several times effectively.
Now let me take you back.
No, I can't go back to school. I'll never go back. I'll run away.
Jane, you know what duty is, don't you? Duty is what you have to do even when you don't want to do it. I may not want to go out into a snowstorm to visit a sick child, but I know I have to go because it's my duty.
As for Helen Burns, the only student to befriend Jane, I'm mostly pleased with how she was handled. She's older than Jane, a bit wiser, and overall more stable. My only problem is how her sickness is presented. They make it seem like she dies of a severe cold, rather than consumption, as in the book. And then she looks as healthy as Jane literally 2 scenes before. Still though, it's her first meeting with Jane that had me sold. For me, it simply embodied what Thor's X was all about. To cap off this review, I have to say, as a film lover, how much I appreciated the visuals of the film. Some of these shots are just stunning for 40s cinematography. From the gothic overtones of the night to the silhouettes against the morning sky. If there's one thing this movie really got right, it was the amount of affection given to the set pieces. It just rang of Bronte's love of nature and her surroundings. So here's my final verdict. While not the closest to the book that you're gonna get, I mean, if you think you can put a 600-page epic into an hour-and-a-half film, you're dreaming. This 40s adaptation of Jane Eyre has enough style and charm to satisfy casual viewers, and might just strike a chord with some fans of the source material. So there you have it. Now I guess technically it's your turn to...
Oh man, the party was off to his house.
Where the heck were you? I was in the middle of reviewing something. Are you telling me you missed all that? Yes, well, if it was any consolation, I found the review to be quite invigorating. Yeah, shut up. Thank you, shut up. Alright, okay, where were you?
Oh, you know. Not here.
Well, you putrid swine, I hope you're happy. You've miraculously made this session here more of a wreck than it was when you entered the room.
Okay, look, don't even start with me. I lasted up until Janae met Rockefeller.
You imbecile, it's Rochester!
Jeez, that's funny. You really think I care?
Yes, quite right. I already care about this session here when he could be at home watching videos of cats on the internet.
Hey, you know what? At least watching cats is a better way to spend my time than reading about Joanna and how much she hates her stepsisters.
Good God, man! Did you even attempt to read the novel? Do you really have to ask at this point?
Oh, no, I did. Yeah. On Spark Notes.
Charlotte, forgive me. Ah!